She believed in preparation, calculation, and inevitability. For 3 centuries, she had ruled the Aurelian star dominion with a will so sharp it had carved her name into history. Entire systems fell silent when her war fleets arrived. Civilizations measured time in before and after her reign. Now, she stood alone on the command dais of the throne ship Imperium Ascendant, gazing at a holographic map of the frontier. Red markers pulsed like open wounds, enemy incursions, rebel strongholds, unaligned human colonies growing bold in their independence. War was coming. Again. Varelia welcomed it. Her species, the Cathy, were born for conquest. Their children were trained in strategy before they could read. Love was a distraction. Family was duty, not sentiment. She herself had never taken a mate. The Dominion needed a ruler, not a mother. That was why the summons she received moments later made no sense. "Your Majesty," said High Strategist Morvac, his 4 eyes flickering with visible unease. "A priority genetic alert has been triggered in the Royal Archive." Varelia turned slowly. "Explain." Morvac swallowed. The archive detected an unauthorized, but compatible, genetic sequence registered as direct royal descent. Silence fell over the bridge. Varelia's voice dropped to a lethal calm. "You are telling me someone forged my genetic code?" Morvac hesitated. "No, Your Majesty. The match is absolute. Probability of error, 0.001%. The Queen's claws curled. "I have no offspring," she said. "I ensured that personally." Morvac tapped the console, projecting a new hologram. A human face appeared, male, mid-30s, dark-eyed, unremarkable by Dominion standards. "Then," Morvac said carefully, "the archive suggests grandchildren." The Queen of Iron Stars stared at the image, as if it were a weapon aimed at her heart. Middle, the human variable. The human's name was Elias Rourke. He lived on the fringe world of Callistra, 9, a mining colony too insignificant for conquest, too stubborn for assimilation. According to Dominion records, Elias was a civilian engineer with no military history, no known psychic capacity, and no idea that his blood carried royal Cathy markers. Varelia ordered his immediate retrieval. Not assassination. Retrieval. That alone unsettled the entire High Council. When Elias awoke aboard the Imperium Ascendant, he expected pain, interrogation, execution. Instead, he found himself in a chamber larger than his entire home, facing the most feared being in the galaxy. Queen Varelia regarded him with eyes like burning suns. "You will speak truth," she said, "or you will not speak again." Elias raised his hands slowly. "Lady, I don't even know where I am." "You know who your parents were?" "My mother," Elias said, confused. "Yeah. She died when I was young. Never knew my father." The Queen's gaze sharpened. "What did your mother tell you of her past?" Elias frowned. "She said she used to work off-world. Research contracts. She never talked about it much." Varelia dismissed the guards and activated a privacy field, an unprecedented move. "She was Cathy," Varelia said. Elias laughed once, nervously. "That's not funny." "She was part of a classified genetic initiative," the Queen continued. "An experiment designed to test hybrid compatibility with humans. She escaped before termination." Elias stared. "You're saying I'm half alien?" "You are saying," Varelia corrected, "that you carry my genetic legacy." The words landed like a planetary impact. Elias shook his head. "No. That's impossible." Varelia stepped closer. "Your child, your daughter, carries dormant Cathy traits. The archive detected her neural resonance when she was born." Elias froze. "My daughter?" His voice cracked. You brought me here because of my child? Yes. For what? Varelia's voice hardened. For succession. The Dominion required a bloodline. The Queen's mortality, though extended, was not infinite. The Council had long pressured her to designate an heir. She had refused until now. You will return to your colony, she said. You will bring the child here. She will be raised as Kathy. Elias stepped back. Absolutely not. Silence. You misunderstand, Varelia said softly. This is not a request. Elias clenched his fists. You're talking about kidnapping my kid. I am talking about preserving an empire. Elias met her gaze, fear giving way to fury. Then your empire doesn't deserve to survive. The Queen studied him for a long moment. No one had ever spoken to her like that. And yet, something in his defiance stirred a memory she had buried centuries ago. Middle. War and bloodlines. As negotiations stalled, the galaxy burned. The Carvoid Armada breached the frontier, launching a multi-system assault that threatened the Dominion's core worlds. For the first time in generations, Varelia faced an enemy that matched her fleet's blow for blow. She prepared for war as she always had, mercilessly. But the presence of Elias and the knowledge of her grandchildren changed everything. During strategic briefings, she found herself distracted. During battle simulations, her decisions wavered, subtly, dangerously. Morvac noticed. You hesitate, he said after one brutal engagement. That is new. Varelia said nothing. Meanwhile, Elias was confined to a diplomatic wing, guarded but unharmed. He spent his days replaying memories of his daughter, Lena, only 6 years old, brilliant and curious. He knew what the Dominion would do to her. They would make her a weapon. One night, an alarm sounded through the ship. Car saboteurs breached the hull, triggering chaos. In the confusion, Elias escaped his confinement. He didn't run for a shuttle. He ran toward the throne chamber. Varelia was there alone, coordinating fleet movements as explosions rocked the ship. You should be hiding, she said without turning. So should you, Elias replied. She looked at him then, not as a ruler, but as something older. Why are you here? Because if you really care about bloodlines, Elias said, you should know what you're about to lose. The Queen's eyes narrowed. You think this war will destroy my legacy? No, Elias said quietly. I think it will destroy your family. The word struck harder than any weapon. Family. The Car Armada launched its final assault hours later. The Dominion lines collapsed. Victory would require a forbidden tactic, igniting the core of a star system, killing billions to stop the enemy advance. Varelia authorized the sequence. Then she hesitated. Elias stood beside her, watching the countdown. My daughter lives in that system, he said. The Queen's claws trembled. For the first time in her reign, she canceled an order mid-execution. The High Council erupted in protest. The war hung in the balance. Varelia turned to Morvac. Prepare a withdrawal, she said. I will face the consequences. Ending. The Crown rewritten. The decision changed everything. The Dominion lost territory, but gained something it had never possessed before, loyalty without fear. Worlds that expected annihilation instead found mercy. Rebellions ended. Alliances formed. The Car Armada, denied total war, fractured under its own brutality. Peace followed. Years later, the Imperium Ascendant hovered in orbit over a rebuilt Callistra 9. The Queen stood on a balcony, watching a small child laugh as she chased light drones across the garden. Lena Rourke, Kathy, and Human paused when she sensed the Queen watching. She waved. Varelia raised her hand in return, awkwardly. She had not taken Lena to the Dominion. She had not shaped her into a conqueror. Instead, She had done something unthinkable. She had adapted. The Dominion Council restructured succession laws. Power would no longer pass by blood alone, but by choice, by worth. Elias approached the queen, older now, but unbowed.
She asks about you, he said.
She knows you're important. Varelia nodded. Does she fear me? Elias smiled faintly.
No.
She's curious. The Queen of Iron Stars exhaled, a sound no one had heard her make in centuries. I prepared for war, she said. For rebellion. For extinction. She looked at the child again. But not for this. Elias followed her gaze. Neither did I. Above them, the stars burned quietly, not as battlegrounds, but as possibilities. For the first time in her long reign, Queen Varelia did not see the future as a battlefield. She saw it as a legacy, not of conquest, but of grandchildren.